As the new year began in 2024, we did see some selling in the markets after the rally we have seen in the last 2 months of 2023. So now that 1 month has already passed into 2024, where are we right now? Are we still looking bullish? Could there be more upside on optimism of rate cuts eventually coming? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier Myzel, trader in Philip Securities, and in today's video, I'll be talking about the markets, right? It seems like we're still looking pretty bullish. Let's take a look at some of the key levels, the key numbers that have came out over the past few weeks, and where are we right now for each of the markets, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500 index, the Nasdaq, and even the Singapore STI to see where we are right now and if 2024 can still be bullish. Let's go. Alright, so this is Dow Jones right here, trading at about 38,333. So just last month, before we began the new year, right, we actually attempted to break this very key level, and that level would be that 37,000, right? We kind of like broke this all-time high, pretty much where we were about 2 years back before the rate hikes and inflationary pressures and started to turn into a downtrend before finding a bottom somewhere around that 29,000. So we kind of like traded up in December 2023, attempted to break that 37,000, and we did break it, and we stayed above this 37,000. So pretty much an all-time high, we broke it, and this 37,000 became what we call a new support level. All right, and over the past 1 month, it seems like we are actually holding above this 37,000. Swings up and down, a bit of profit taking here and there, but over the past few weeks, it seems like we have attempted to push to a new high, breaking what we call that key 38,000. You can see right over here we have breached, all right, we have breached this 38,000 level over the past few days, and right now you can see that the trend is still up, right? The longer term trend is still up. It has been up since last year, beginning of last year we have turned up, and the 20 days moving average, which is where we look at the short-term trend, has also pointed up since November when we saw a huge rally in the last 2 months of 2023. So it's been pointing up. Right now, it started to flatten a little bit, but you can see that it is still gradually or very gently sloping up right now as we broke that 38,000. So it looks quite good. I would say that the Dow Jones right now, that we have attempted to break that 38,000, with it staying above it, it still looks pretty bullish. There could be more legs for the market to push even higher, especially for the Dow Jones. Next up, the S&P 500 index, right? The very popular index that makes up the top 500 companies in the US, right? So you can see that we started to see strength in the market since end of 2023, starting of November 2023, and there were many of those tech stocks starting to push up as there are talks about rate cuts coming in 2024. So right now you can see that this is still playing out. This is still the ongoing story that's happening right now, and we are still seeing strength, right? So you can see that for the S&P 500, right over here somewhere around like March last year in 2023, we started to see that reversal whereby the longer term trend has turned from a downtrend in 2022 to an uptrend. So it's returned to an uptrend. It is still ongoing as we actually broke this very key level that I mentioned in December as well, right? So this level is that 4,800 level, is pretty much the 2 years resistance level whereby we have traded below it, sold all the way down in a downtrend, and in December we kind of like attempted to break it, and it seems like we have already, we have already broken this 4,800 level, which would now be the new support for the entire market. And you can see that for the 4,800 level, it is also where this green line, this 20 days moving average line, you can see right here, you can see it's pointing up it's still pointing up very gradually, and it coincides with where the 4,800 level is as well. So I think as long as we stay above the 4,008, the S&P 500 index still looks very bullish. All right, there could be more strength all the way maybe towards the 5,000. There could be some short-term selling near there. It's good to see some profit taking as it consolidates sideways before attempting to push even higher. But right now, I think that the fact that we actually gone above 4,008 is all-time high. We are staying above this 4,008. There could be more strength as we head into 2024. Alright, so let's take a look at the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite Index, trading at about 15,628. So you can see that it looks quite similar to the S&P 500 index. And since last year, March, April, we have seen what we call a reversal with the 100 days moving average, the red line, kind of like, crossing back and pushing up above the 200 days moving average blue line. So yes, we returned to what we call an uptrend since beginning of last year, pushing higher, forming what we call higher lows, whereby buyers are prepared to come back to defend and push the market even higher. So it looks pretty bullish. And the key here is that since last month, even before we began 2024, right, I talk about this very key level, and that would be the 14,500, which was the support level in 2021. You can see we kind of broke down, it became the resistance. We attempted to break it, it didn't happen, came down, and finally last month we broke above that 14,500 level right over here, which actually became the new support, and we consolidated above it. Right now we're still above it, and in fact we're pushing away from it to push even higher. So it looks quite good. I think this support at 14,500 level would be kind of like the support for now as we continue into 2024. As long as we stay above it, I think the uptrend looks intact. There could still be more leaks to the rally as we slowly approach the next critical resistance level. And what would that level be? Well, I think we are approaching where we were about 2 years back, and this level would be the 16,000. You can see right over here, this was pretty much where we were end of 2021, about 2 years back. Right over here, touched a couple of times, 4 or 5 times, and the downtrend started for the markets, and we sold all the way down. So it seems like we are kind of like attempting to slowly approach that 16,000. There might be some profit taking as we approach there, which is healthy, is normal. We might attempt to break it eventually after consolidating below it for a few weeks to 1 or 2 months, and that would be a good thing. That would be something like the Dow Jones or maybe the S&P 500 breaking the 4,800. We could see more strength in the Nasdaq if that happens as well. Okay, so let's take a look at Singapore Straits Times Index, the STI, trading at about 3,150 right here. So you can see that for the STI, it looks a little bit different from the US market, whereby we have staged a pretty good reversal since last year. The Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and even the Nasdaq, they're all kind of like approaching the previous high we've seen. They've sold off in 2022, and now some of them have really reversed. They've reached a high. Some of them is still on the way towards the previous high. But for STI, we have not really sold off much since 2022 due to the rate hikes and inflation. We were pretty much just moving, I would say, sideways, since 2021, above this support level, which would be the psychological 3,000 level, which I've mentioned a few times already. So this 3,000, you can see that since 2021, we had touched it a couple of times, 1, 2, some of them we neared it, and then we rebounded from it. Just about 2-3 months back as well, we neared it and started to see a bit of a rebound. So I would say that the support have came in from about 3,000 to 3,050 to 3,001, or maybe $100 range from 3,000 to 3,001. All right, and that is where potentially we can see some bargain hunting coming in again for some of the blue chips. So it's been pretty much sideways. All right, and we are seeing a little bit of profit taking right now. You can see that since last year in July, we approached this resistance level somewhere around that 3,400. It seems like that is where a lot of sellers are coming back to push prices down for the entire market. So anything near 3,003 to 3,004, that's where you could also lock in some profits, all right, whereby the market might see weakness. All right, so it's about 3,150 now. You can see it's somewhere near the bottom of the range, right? From like, let's say 3,000 to 3,004. The mid ground would be around that 3,200, right? So we are just slightly below the middle ground, all right? So I think that if you want to get in at a better attractive opportunity in terms of like buying maybe the STI ETF, then that would be better if you could get in near, or when the STI were to approach the 3,000 to 3,001, that would give it more upside reward. All right, so this is the STI index. All right, some signs of selling in the short term. You can see right here that the 20 days moving average, this green line, it was like down, flat, down, all the way until somewhere as we began 2024, we saw a quick reversal, but right now sellers are coming back. Prices have gone below this 20 days moving average, so in the short term, a little bit weaker. All right, might just push down maybe to 3,001, 3,050, and that's where some bargain hunting can come back again. So that's it guys, I've done a quick overview of the markets, the Dow Jones, S&P 500 and even the Nasdaq, the STI as well, 1 year into 2024. So I hope you have a better idea of some of the key levels that have came out over the past few weeks and how do we look like in 2024, especially if those supports that I mentioned are still holding. So it looks pretty bullish still, right? I think these rate cuts, this whole talks about rate cuts since last year, they have kind of like fueled the entire market. People are looking forward to it, and when it eventually comes, there could be more upside momentum as well. So you want to be focusing on some of those stocks. We are looking at some of the, like the technology sector as well. Some of those stocks are doing really well. Many of those stocks that we have caught for in the US has gone up by like 20, 30, 40% as well. So if you found a little bit more on some of those stocks, in fact, some of those the strategy that I'm using, right, called One Good Trend, then you can attend one of those free web class that I'm still running. I'll place the link below it. Click on it, attend one of those web class where I share with you this One Good Trend strategy, and more importantly, the software, all right, or a system that I have that pick out those stocks, right, winners, and guides us on entry and exit as well. All right, so I'll place the link below. Click on it, register for this web class, and I'll share with you more. I look forward to see you soon. Take care.